What's up, Grandstand Bettors? It's 2 goals, 1 puck coming at you here on Tuesday, January 10th. Welcome in, boys and girls. We're live on Twitter. We're live on YouTube. And we're here to give you our 6-pack parlay for Tuesday, January 10th. And we will get into that in just a moment. But first, welcome in. Hope everybody's having a great week. And I want to just go over the national championship game from last night. And what are we doing, college football? Seriously, committee, what are we doing? You're putting a TCU team into the playoffs, and I know they beat Michigan. But that tells you maybe Michigan shouldn't have been in there. Maybe Ohio State was the only one that actually you got right. And to be fair, they probably were one of the 4 best teams in the country. And Georgia lucked out. They sure did on New Year's Eve, getting into the championship game with the missed field goal. But still, what are we doing with the Big 12 coming in and trying to compete with these guys from the SEC? I'm going to tell you right now, in 2 years, everybody wanted a 12-team playoff, and I don't think that's the way to go. I mean, you're only going to get more of these games if you open it up to 12 teams, and on top of that, you're going to get an Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, Michigan, Georgia Final Four every single year if you open it up to that. So I don't think it's going to be a good thing for college football. But regardless, that's my little rant about that. Welcome in, friends. We're going to get to our 6-pack parlay here in one moment. Jamar, what is the 6-pack parlay? That is a great question. We give you 6 bets today, and we recommend betting them all as a straight wager, but throw a little pizza money on that on a 6-bet parlay. And all these bets, all 6 of them, if you do parlay them, they are going to add up to over 5,000 odds, so 50 to 1 basically. So without further ado, let's get into our 6 bets of the day. And in the chat, please let us know if you have any questions about any other games that you might be looking at. We'll definitely give you our opinion, and or let us know your best bets on what you're doing tonight. So here we go, 6-pack parlay. And the first thing, we got 2 in the NBA today, we got 2 in the NHL, and we got 2 in college basketball. We're going to look at the NBA first, and we're going to look at 2 player props. First game we're looking at is the Phoenix Suns, who are going to go on the road today. They're going to go against the Golden State Warriors. And on the road is where the Suns have actually struggled. They're 6-14 today going into this one on the road. They're also in the middle of a 6-game losing streak, having won actually just 1 game in the last 10. Warriors, they're actually worse on the road than the Suns. They're 3-16. But the good news is today they get to play at home, where they've won 17 of their 20 games on the season. Now, both of these teams, quite honestly, decimated with injuries. Booker, Crowder, Johnson, Paul, Payne, Green, Kuminga, and Wiseman all out for this game. All game time decision. No, they're all out. All of those are out. Curry, Thompson, Ayton, those 3 are game time decisions. So the recent dip in success from both of these teams, they can be understandable because of the players that are on the floor having to play different roles. That includes who we're going to talk about in our first play here. That's Kevin Looney, who's most likely going to get the start at center tonight again for the Warriors. Looney, who was averaging just less than 23 minutes a game for the most part for this season, has seen an uptick of playing time because of the injuries, and over the last 5 games is averaging about 27 points per game. He also, in the last 5 games, is averaging almost 14 rebounds per game. Now, he has faced the Suns twice this season, and he's averaged this stat line: 8 points, 6 rebounds, and 2.5 assists in just 18 minutes per game. With the added minutes he's going to have tonight, and the rebounding ability, and also the ability to pass the ball and dish it off from the inside out, he is going to have some shooters that are going to knock down some shots. And we're going to go with a player combo as our first bet of the night tonight in our 6-pack parlay. And we are going to take Kevin Looney. We got him at over 11.5 rebounds and assists. We are going to put up our actual our bet slip for the 6-pack parlay at the end. I did see in some places that his rebounds and assists did go up to 12.5. I still kind of like it. As I said, he's averaging 14.5 points or 14.5 rebounds, I think, per game over his last 5. So if it did go up to 12.5, I do like his ability there to have a good night on the boards as well. So that is our first pick of our six-pack parlay. Cole, Florida LSU game. We'll get to that in just a moment. Let me get to college basketball, and I'll definitely break down that game as I did take a look at that one today. Our second NBA player prop for this evening, though, is going to be in the Cleveland Cavs and the Utah Jazz matchup. That one is going to be, I believe, in the 9 o'clock slot, 8 o'clock slot, somewhere around there. 3 games back, the Cavs are of the Boston Celtics at the moment in the East. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not a Cavs fan. I grew up as a Cavs fan, got away with them because I can't stand LeBron James. But this team, honestly, has the makings of a magical year for this Cleveland fan base, and I hope that it catches I hope this name catches on, to be honest with you. The Cardiac Cavs. Okay, I'm going to call them the Cardiac Cavs moving forward. They're 6-0 in games that have gone to overtime, which is a good sign that they can win close games. But you know what's kind of weird? As much as they win those close games that go into overtime, this Cavs team, they have the 3rd highest scoring margin in the league coming into this one. So they have to feel disappointed that they haven't been a little bit better with that scoring margin, but still only 3 games out of the Boston Celtics at the moment. They go up against the Utah Jazz, who themselves have to be disappointed about sitting in the 11th seed in the West at the moment. They've lost 7 of their last 8, including an embarrassing loss to the San Antonio Spurs. Now, the guy we're going to talk about for this NBA player prop is Lauri Markkanen, and he has been phenomenal this season, averaging 24.5 points and almost 8.5 rebounds on the season. He has put up 11 straight games with 20-plus points, and really, when he is not on the floor, this Jazz team does tend to look a bit stagnant. Tonight, they have his point total at 25.5 points, which I think is a good number, and I don't actually think we have an edge on that number. But where I do think we have an edge is on his rebound prop tonight. Markkanen is averaging over 8 rebounds a game, and there's an interesting correlation that we've seen over the last month that if he picks up 3 or more personal fouls, that actually prop goes under the total every single time. Now, it could just be a coincidence and something, though, that we could keep an eye on. But tonight, the Jazz are going to be without 4 guys to injury, and Markkanen is going to have to carry this team on both sides of the court. Now, I like Markkanen to keep his fouls down and be strong on the glass. Honestly, I would be pretty surprised if the Jazz win this game, but I do think it's going to be a close one, and Markkanen's going to play at least 35 minutes in this one. So with our second play of our 6-pack parlay, we're going to take Lauri Markkanen over 7.5 rebounds. You can find that one at like minus 105 on most books. Now, that is our 2 prop bets for the NBA. It's time to switch gears, and we will go to the NHL here for a few plays. So let's start off with a full game bet. We have one in the Calgary Flames and the St. Louis Blues. Calgary, listen, these teams, they're interesting. They're going to play tonight, and they're going to play on Thursday as well against one another, both of which are going to be played in St. Louis. It's kind of a weird scheduling setup. That's going to end, actually, their season series. These two teams did fight out about a month ago in Calgary where the Blues won 5-2. Since then, though, the Blues, they're just a 500 team, and most of the season they've actually been a 500 team. They sit 2 points back of the Oilers halfway through the season, and we personally actually hope that the Blues can make a run into the playoffs. Honestly, I don't know why I did it. I put $20 on the Blues to win the Stanley Cup as my first ever bet in Cleveland when we became live on New Year's Day. But hey, that was at 90-1. I would love the Blues to at least make the playoffs to give that a shot, maybe some hedging possibilities. But enough about the futures. Let's talk about tonight. The Flames, they are in control right now of the first wild card spot. They've gone 6-2-2 in their last 10 games. And these two teams, if you dive into how they perform, it's quite interesting how this game or how this series really matches up. The Blues, they actually have a decent power play, but the Flames have a very good PK unit. The Flames, on the other hand, they have a horrible power play, and the mediocre Blues power penalty kill unit is going to face them tonight as well. So who knows how the power play situations will even themselves out. The Flames, they put up the 4th most shots on goal per game, and while the Blues are in the top 10 in giving up shots per game. Honestly, from all those stats that we looked at tonight, that screams under for this game. But there are a couple things that I look at when we do look at handicapping NHL totals. One in particular is first period goals for and against. And the Flames, they're 2nd in the NHL in goals in the first period and 4th in goals against, which tells me we could see a hot start to this game scoring-wise. I also take a look at third period goals where the Blues give up quite a bit of those, actually 8 most in the league. Now, you may be saying to yourself, well, okay, so this game looks like a pretty easy Calgary Flames victory. Well, not so fast, my Grandstand Bettors. I also take a look at penalty minutes. And with the Flames giving up over 11 penalty minutes per game on the road, the Blues are going to have plenty of chances in this one to score against Jacob Markstrom, who has allowed 2 or more goals in 9 of his last 10 outings. Now, you add in Jordan Binnington, who has given up 3 goals in 5 of his last 6 games, and I actually think we have the making for a shootout tonight. So, with our third play in our 6-pack parlay, we are going to take, and this is contrarian here, we're going to take the Flames and the Blues over 6 goals. And actually, you could find that one at plus money. I think we got it at plus, I think it was actually even money, plus 100 there. Now, staying with the NHL before we get to some college basketball, we do have an NHL player prop for tonight. Sebastian Aho of the Carolina Hurricanes. We have a prop bet for him. We're going to take a look at him and the Carolina Hurricanes. They're taking on the Devils in a Metro Division showdown. This is a rematch, guys, from New Year's Day where the Hurricanes beat the Devils 5-4 in a shootout. But since then, they have lost 3 straight, including one to the worst team in the league, the Blue Jackets. Despite that, the Hurricanes still have the best record in the NHL. They're 4 points clear of the Devils for first, also in the Metro. The Hurricanes, they put up the most shots on goal per game in the league at 36. And the Devils, they counter that with giving up the second least amount of shots per game at 27. Last time out, New Jersey had a lot of trouble with these Hurricanes. They put up 47 shots on goal against the Devils on their home ice. Aho has struggled recently. In the last 3 games, he's only put up 1 point and has only had about 2 shots on goal per game. But he's going to face a familiar foe. And last time out against the Devils, he not only had a goal, he had an assist, but he also had 5 shots on goal. I think the Hurricanes, who have lost a couple bad games this past week, get fired up to separate themselves just a little bit more from the Devils. And that starts with Sebastian Aho's leadership in this one. So with our 4th pick of our 6-pack parlay, we're going to take Sebastian Aho over 2.5 shots on goal. Now, that gets rid of our NBA and our NHL. So let's go to some college basketball. Before we do so, let's get to Cole's question. Florida and LSU. And Cole, to be honest, we did take a look at this one, and I just want to confirm my notes. Yes. So listen, this one was close to us. I got to be honest, buddy. I think the line we saw this morning was +1 to LSU. Myself, I handicapped this at LSU as the favorite. To be honest, it comes very close. I think I have LSU winning this one. It was +1 when it opened up, man. It was +1 and it's gone to 2, which tells me, okay, so some money's coming in on Florida, and I get that. Florida's a good team this year. I think they're 8-7, but they've lost some close games. LSU, they look dominant, and that's kind of a shady line. You know, how does Florida come in at -2 now at an 8-7 team, and the LSU Tigers, who are 12-3, are underdogs at home? I'm going to be honest, sometimes those trap, like was it yesterday or 2 days ago when Maryland played Ohio State? It was kind of a weird line. Okay, yeah, I actually took Maryland in that, and it worked out. I have to be honest with this. this one, I think LSU, I think this is mishandicap. I think the books went the wrong way on this. I really do think LSU at +2 is the way to go. So I do think that is the way to go. Again, that's just my personal opinion. I personally didn't bet that for you guys. So I don't know. I don't have any horse in the race, but that's my personal opinion. I think that one mishandicapped by the books. I really think it should be probably -1, -2 to LSU. I'm not really sure why the money's coming in that way, but hey, I'll probably be wrong. It'll probably be another trap line that we have to learn from. But that's my thoughts on that. Let's get to our other two parlay bets here in college basketball. Again, guys, if you want any of our advice, or not even advice, but any of our opinion on any games in all sports, please let us know in the chat. We're going to finish up these last two here in college basketball, and then we'll recap all 6 for you. But first, we're going to look at some action in college basketball tonight. The Chippewas of Central Michigan take on Northern Illinois, and the Chippewas have opened up mat play. They've gone 1-1 thus far after dropping a close one to Eastern Michigan. They're now 6-9 on the season. They're going to face a Huskies team at home who are having a rough go of it this season. They are 4-11 and 0-2 in the MAC, but they've also lost 6 of their last 7 games, including a loss to Albany and Illinois Springfield to open up the season. Now, there is a reason for the most part that these two teams are not winning. They cannot score points. They're both averaging less than 66.5 points per game, and they are 2 of the worst teams to shoot from beyond the arc in college basketball. On top of that, these teams really struggle to get off to a good start, as they're both some of the worst teams in college basketball to do first half points, and they can't even hold on to the ball. They're really bad in turnovers as well. So, Matt, there are 2 ends of the basketball court. So what about their offense? Well, I'm going to tell you, you'd be correct in asking about their offense because, yes, their defense, because there are 2 sides of the basketball court. Their defenses, that hasn't helped the situation either. The defense is awful. The Huskies, they are awful on defense. Northern Illinois is allowing 76 points per game, over 37 alone in the first half. Central Michigan is not much better, giving up 70 points per game. So something has to give in this game. Either the offenses are going to take advantage of the horrible defenses, or the defenses are going to shut down what is a horrible offense on both sides. Honestly, here, we're going to lean with that the offenses are probably going to take over, and the reason's going to be kind of unorthodox here for you, and you might not like it. Both these teams are absolutely horrible in fouling. In fact, both of these teams combined give up 44 free throw attempts per game. That's going to stay true tonight, and that's going to do 2 things. It's going to put points on the board with the clock stopped, and it allows shooters to see the basketball go through the hoop, which is a huge boost of confidence, especially from somebody who's not shooting well. So, with our 5th play in our 6-pack parlay, we're probably very contrarian here with how bad these 2 offenses are, but we're going to go with Central Michigan and Northern Illinois over 136.5. We're going to get to our last game here in college basketball in a minute. Florida's -2.5 right now with 41% of the money. Yeah, it's a little bit reverse line movement. I'll tell you, I'm sure Florida wins. I have no doubt in my mind that my handicapping of that game with having LSU as -1 is probably off the way that it's moving. I'm just telling you from my standpoint, Cole, I think LSU is the better team. And I think there's more value there on taking LSU 10 times out of 10 times. I think LSU is probably gonna get that 7 or at least. I mean, all they have to do is win 6 out of 10 for that to be a profitable bet at +2. So that's kind of where I want to go with LSU. What's up, Al? Perfect timing, though, Al. Perfect timing, because with our last play, and we'll recap all of our 6-pack parlays here at the end, but with our last play of our 6-pack parlay, guess who we're talking about? We're going to talk about the Notre Dame Fighting Irish and the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. And all right, listen, guys, we say all the time that we stay away from betting on Notre Dame games, and really, for the most part, that is true. But tonight, with our last bet of our 6-pack parlay, We're going to dive into the Georgia Tech Notre Dame matchup here. Both these teams absolutely struggling in the ACC as they are combined 1-9, and the Irish have yet to win a game in the ACC. Georgia Tech actually had a nice win over Miami a week ago, who Notre Dame got blown out of the water by at home right before, I think, New Year's Eve that was. But they do find themselves in the Joy Center, where all 8 of the Irish wins have come. And Georgia Tech has not won but one game on the road this season, and it was to Georgia State, 59-57. Georgia Tech's one of the worst scoring teams on the road. They're only putting up 61.8 points per game, and the Irish are putting up over 71 points per game. Now, it's pretty well known that the Irish do not turn the ball over, and even though, quite honestly, watching their games, it seems like they have had some recent turnover struggles, they're still actually 3rd in the nation in not turning the ball over. Also, Georgia Tech doesn't force turnovers, so that trend should probably hold true tonight. But something many people may not realize is that Notre Dame does not give up free points. They are number 1 in college basketball in fouls per game and 8th in free throw attempts to their opponents per game. They only give up 12 free throws per game. Now, this is all you really need to know for this game, quite honestly. Notre Dame is on their home court, and they've dropped 6 of 7 games recently. Mike Bray, he's going to have these boys fired up, and I expect Cormac Ryan and Dane Goodwin to come out hot. Kind of what we saw against Michigan State at home. We have to probably sweat this one down the stretch, but if it comes down to free throws, I feel confident with the Irish being one of the better teams to knock them down. So with our 6th play of our 6-pack parlay, we're going to take the Notre Dame Fighting Irish minus. We got it at -5.5. I saw it at 5, and I'm going to be honest, that's 100% biased. Now, before we get to our recap of our 6-pack parlay, I see John Grayman. What's up, buddy? Welcome in. New to betting, are you betting all 6 of these parlays combined, or are you making 6 different 2-bet parlays? Thanks. Okay, you placed 15-1-8. Nice, man. Congratulations on that. So listen, this is how we always talk about the 6-pack parlay. It's an entertainment factor, okay? I've been a bettor for 20 years. I can tell you right now, you're going to lose money betting on parlays. Betting parlays is not the way to go, as my chair keeps going down. But I'm going to tell you this. So what we recommend, I would take like half a unit. So if you have $100, and I'm going to make it simple. If you have $100, let's say 200. If you have $200 your bankroll, I'd put half a unit on this, okay? So I always recommend at least having 100 units as your bankroll. So that'd be a $2 bet. So half a unit would be $1. So I would make 6 straight bets on this and then take like 0.25 of a unit and put it on the parlay. That's how I like to do this. This is for entertainment, really, for the parlay reasons. I do trust all of these bets, to be honest with you, though. I mean, these are bets that for sure I'm backing. I'll show you guys the ticket here in a second. I did put this in as a parlay. But honestly, you're going to lose money over the long run if you do this as a parlay. So, again, I'd bet them separate. I wouldn't even do them as two. I'd only do one 6-team parlay and then 6 separate bets as like half units. So, John, hey, welcome in, man. Glad to see you. Glad you're new to betting, and hopefully we can be here to educate you. But that's awesome, man. $130 profit right off the bat, new to betting. I love it. Al, Virginia UNC game, you're leaning to the under on that one. Well, you know, the last time I watched UNC, they kicked Notre Dame's ass. So I'm a little I'm a little hesitant after watching that offense work. So personally, I had it at 133.7, and I think it's at 132. Is it still at 132? Let me bring it up and see what I'm getting. Also, I can see where some of the money's coming in, if that means anything to you as well. But I have it just over the total. So let's take a look at UNC and Virginia. I'm seeing money. Okay, so I'm actually seeing, let's see what it started at, though. What did it open at? I think we might have reverse line movement here. Maybe not, though. I'm going to have to see what it opened at. Let's see. North Carolina. It opened at 136. Yeah, so I'm seeing reverse line movement on the under. So, yeah, actually the under's probably based off of those two things and mine being just kind of right at the total because I think I am seeing it at 133 in some spots. I do think probably the under is the right bet there, Al. So yeah, 100% sure. I do think that's a good one. So yeah, if I had, if I was betting that one, I would say probably yeah, the under looks good. All right, guys, that's it for all of our plays. Let me recap once again our 6-pack parlay here. Kevin Looney over 11.5 rebounds, assists. Lauri Markkanen over 7.5 rebounds. Calgary, St. Louis in the NHL over 6 goals. Sebastian Aho, the one on the Carolina Hurricanes. There are 2 in the league. The one on the Carolina Hurricanes, not the Islanders, but the Hurricanes. Over 2.5 shots on goal. Central Michigan, Northern Illinois over 136.5. And Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish, minus 5.5. Guys, if you parlay all those 6 together, and it comes out to plus 5,472, meaning that if you do put a $10 bet on that, it would come out to, I think, $517. We did put the $10 on. I'm a man of my word. Here is the bet. Can I show that? Oh, you know what? Hold on. I put it under background. Hold on. Let me get it. I do have the bet slip, and it is going to be on the screen right now. So there's the bet slip. $10 there. It comes out to $547.24. Notre Dame minus 5.5. Aho over 2.5. Central Michigan over 136.5. Flames over 6. Good market there. Plus 106. Markkanen over 7.5 rebounds at minus 104. And Kevin Looney over 11.5. So that is it, guys. That is our parlay for Tuesday, January 10th. I appreciate y'all stopping in. I know we only had about 10 viewers in here, but to be honest, that's still probably more viewers than the Georgia TCU second half on ESPN last night. So that's it for us here at Grandstand Bettors. We are going to be sending out our NFL picks for the wild card. That'll come out on Friday night. So look forward to that. I think we went 2-0-1 on our Week 18 picks. And then we will be live. Just an update. We will be live on Monday. We'll do Cowboys and Buccaneers on wild card Monday night. So look forward to that. We'll be at a wedding all weekend, though, for the most part, having some fun. So hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Make sure that if you're on Twitter, you follow us, and make sure that if you're on YouTube, you hit that like button. Appreciate all the support you guys give us, and we will see you next Tuesday, really, on the 17th of January for our next 6-pack parlay. Have a good one.